Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Ben from Universal Audio in the tiny box. Now I'm in a normal size box. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Luna After Hours. The workday is over. I need to not be working on normal stuff, but now I actually get to dive in and do some fun stuff, which is mixing. And, why not mix in Luna? Why not open up the live stream here and let you guys kind of peek over my shoulder as I'm working through this track? So I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you for joining. This is going to be a little bit different format if you didn't catch the first After Hours. I'm here to work. I got to actually do some real mixing work at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus mix. I'll kind of talk and, try to give you guys some helpful ideas and hints as I'm making my way through this mix. But then every half hour or so, I'll stop and look over the chat and say what's up. Hey, what's up, Todd? Saw some really so yeah, this is version 1.0.1 of the mix. Thank you, I saw that comment. And yeah, after the first couple of hours working on this, we've already got we've got proper well-tuned vocals. The leads are sounding pretty good. We started working a little bit with those backgrounds, and then we jumped over to the bass, the drums, and the keyboards. We just we listened to the guitars for a moment, but we didn't really get a chance to work on them yet. Just overall need to keep on shaping up this mix a little bit. So let me show you guys what I'm looking at and put me in the rearview mirror there. Cool. So this is our session. Hopefully you guys remember this from last time. Let's see. Looks like we loaded up a little funky here. Let me just close the session and try opening it up again. It's a weird little bug that I did not notice until just now. And the other thing you guys may notice is I don't have headphones tonight. So in theory, this microphone should be ducked below the mixes. But just yell at me if I'm listening too loud and it doesn't sound good. Just hit me up in the comments. Let me know. What's up? Nice. Oh, thanks, dude. Dude, I appreciate all you guys watching and hanging out with us. Hanging out, over here in the evening time. Just you guys are hanging out with me in the studio. I really appreciate you guys coming along, and glad you guys are finding so many good ideas and inspirations out of all this. Oh, there we go. Out of all this live streaming, it's it's a lot of work, but it's actually a lot of fun getting to hang out with you guys, hang out with the whole Office Hours crew, and then also, incredibly talented people like Leggy and Tyler and Vance and Dave and Fab. Like, oh man, and just wait till you guys hear some of the guests that we got coming up next. Actually, I should probably tell you guys who's coming up next. We have DJ Jazzy Jeff is joining us on Friday. How cool is that? Not 100% sure what we're going to be doing together yet. So if there's anything you guys want to see Jazzy Jeff do inside of Luna, or us to ask him, give me some ideas, and maybe we'll make that part of the show. All right, so now we got all our tracks. Now we can actually listen. Let's go from the top. This is kind of always my favorite thing, is opening it up. I haven't listened to this in a day or two, since we were last together. So this is my one moment to hear it fresh and hear it with new ears on speakers. It's going to be a very different experience than it was last time, and odds are I'm not going to be able to resist from switching to the mixer view and making some adjustments. So I'm just preparing you and me for the multitude of changes I'm going to hear right away. Gotta work on this guitar.
They wanna see us down, so we stay freedom bound. But nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, we got they conflicted. We hate ourselves more than the system. Chasing an image without a vision, no pot to piss in. Believe I'm no different. Sometimes I feel like I'm only standing it. Just think about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And the White House full of clowns. The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans. Now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate. These kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck all in the screen. Slaves to the green, forgotten the dream. Yeah, they wanna see us down, so we stay freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, and fly. They feeding us garbage, we eating regardless. You are what you eat, hard to compete without owning your harvest. See, government is monopoly, consume with their pockets and not the needs of the people. And this kind of evil is what they want us to not believe. And the proof is plain to see, it's how this nation came to be. We living in shame, ain't nothing gonna change till we face our roots in slavery. Ooh, that guilt is heavy, man, but nothing more deadly than being young, brown, or black and American. I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin's so light, I pass. Most see it as privilege, but me it was something that I never fit in. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image. But as long as them odds are stacked, I'ma keep riding for my better half. Come on. They wanna see us down, so we stay freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, and fly.
So we left this in pretty good condition. Those drums are already sounding pretty good. As you saw, I was just pulling some stuff down. There's a few things that, like the hi-hats and percussion, they were just a little too rocking. Same with like that live bass, poked out. Just tuck the vocals in a little bit more. So like, I like where we're going. Good job, me from Monday. Let's hear just those drums by themselves. Now I got speakers. I just want to listen to stuff, just kind of want to bump it a little bit more.
They wanna dream, yeah, they wanna.
Let's give that kick a little bit more love. This was a little insider trick here. This is the Pultec Pro. It's the legacy one. Doesn't have all the same the kind of richer modeling that you'll get in the EQP1A, which is part of the Pultec collection. These have got all the tubes and transformers. Everything about it is perfectly modeled. Pultec Pro is one of the older algorithms that doesn't have absolutely everything in it, but what it does have is it has the MEQ and the EQP1A stacked together, and it doesn't take a ton of DSP. And I think it comes for free with like twins and satellites, so it kind of makes it's one of my favorite ones to pull out all the time, especially if you've got something that's like a low end, low mid kind of area or issue that you're looking to add. This is my preferred Pultec of the UADs. So they're giving still another healthy dose of bottom end, but also then coming in and cutting out a bunch of that 200 to sit it kind of around what that sub bass is doing and just pull any kind of muddiness or thickness out, but give it like some big fat. Plus, it just needs a little bit more, just a touch more knock on that kick. There we go. That sound. Did you guys hear that before and after? And let's just for fun, the Vogue is also adding a lot of low end. So I'm gonna bypass both of those. Here's what that kick originally was. Kid tested, mother approved. I love it. All right. So I'm just procrastinating from doing some more, moving everything forward by continuing to solo things.
Dream, yeah. So we stay freedom by, but nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh.
So this is something that I do a lot for guitars too, which is like obviously high pass, because there's nothing really good happening down in that 100 or less kind of area for that guitar, as far as I can tell. But then also, what I want to do is I want to have it be present, have it speak out inside the mix, but also sit back a little bit, because there's other there's a lead vocal that I definitely want people to pay attention to. But this riff is adding a lot of rhythmic and a lot of, it's part of the hook. It's, it's a little Spider-Man-y, which I love. But it is, so it's got to be a strong element of the mix, but I don't want it to overtake. So that's where finding and, giving a little bit of a boost to something in this like mid-range, typically helps. And then as you saw, I was able to pull the fader down just a little bit. Yeah. Let's see what that sounds like.
Dream, yeah, wanna see us down. So we stay freedom by, but nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared.
You hear like that guitar plus the vocal now, like they're able to both be loud and proud in the mix, but also not making it harsher or brighter or really making it too not making it thinner or more brittle.
Dream, yeah, wanna see us down. So we stay freedom by, but nothing can.
I love this part. Let's, it's good. It's good, but can we do better? Let's find out. I'm gonna steal, which Marshall I barely ever use, and now somebody, Tyler Bryant brought this one up the other day. So I'm gonna combine two of my favorite guitar players, Tyler Bryant and Corey Wong. Check this out. Remember, if you guys watched the Corey Wong video, which hopefully you did, we're gonna take that off the lead. Remember, he had that thing where he talked about just using the Marshall, but like putting it on like 0.001. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. No, I don't want setup. I want the mixer. Channel strip. Here it is. Yeah, I like that with the condenser. So I come in after that with a compressor. I think we're gonna be in business, guys. Because like that's got that built-in room sound to it now. That is gonna hopefully let's see what it sounds like.
Dream, yeah, wanna see us down.
feeling good. That is feeling good. I like that better than the Fender, I think. Let's trust but verify always, guys. Somebody turn the Fender. I might have just had both of them turned on. Let's see. I definitely did. Happy accident, maybe? I did not do that on purpose originally, but now that I'm hearing it, check it out with and without. It's like the Fender's adding a touch of dirt, but then the Marshall's adding. So I'm kind of like reamping a Fender with a Marshall, breaking all of the laws right now. But it sounds really cool. So let's pull all these up so you guys can see what accidentally just. I thought I wanted to swap this out. I wanted to get my DSP back, but no, I think this is worth it. Right, that little bit of dirt, a little bit of extra room, a little bit of extra size. Yeah, I like that. I'll buy it. And let's hear what that sounds like in the mix. See the two together without the Marshall. When you take that out, it gets dark, and I'm sure I could EQ my way back to something kind of like that. But what the Marshall's doing is it's big tone shift, it's got its own kind of dirt and sauce, but most importantly, the microphones in there and kind of being able to add some of that room sound. Some of you guys will probably recognize. This is a soft tube one. I remember they used to have like vintage amp room or something like that, which were killer guitar amps that I used forever. I think this is very much inspired by that, and shout out to Tyler Bryant for recommending this one because it sounds super good. Okay, so I'm happier with what we got going now for the guitars and the chorus. Let's hear what that verse guitar sounds like. And I'm just picking up where I left off last time. I had these unmuted, but I did not really get a chance to make do on them.
Doing all the heavy lifting, they keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And the White House full of clowns. The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans, not whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we doing all the heavy lifting. They keep.
I won't make the same mistake twice though, because Fender 55 is a lovely plugin. It does use a fair amount of DSP, so I definitely. Yeah, so same thing. It was a little too warm, not quite hit me right. So let's tweak this. Less room. Better. Maybe less that mid.
Doing all the heavy lifting, they keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And the White House full of clowns. The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans, not whether they fan base over here tripping. See, doing all the heavy lifting, they keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And the White House full of clowns. Doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism.
Nope, we did not make any progress that time. That Fender wins.
Doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And
so like maybe all it really needs actually is just like a little bit of a slap, a little bit of a something that needs to sound pushed and like it's pain, it's got to work to get out of the speakers.
Doing all the heavy lifting, they keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And the White House full of clowns. The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans, not whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stays. doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based off the description. And
there we go. So that's the attitude it needed there. So we got a couple options. I'm going to keep on working my way through so that way everything's unmuted. I've got the full vocal production in there. There's like one more guitar track that needs some special attention, and then we may actually play around with adding some parts to this, perhaps. This might benefit from maybe one or two subtle layers in there. We want to keep it, I talked to Johnny, shout out. Oh yeah, dude. The song is Keep You Down by Johnny Burgos, fully unreleased. This is, you guys are witnessing mix version 1.0.1. And this is a new song from his forthcoming record. And I really love the message of the song, love the vibe. And part of that vibe, we were checking out references in the first, I listened to references and then showed you guys what they are in the first After Hours. But, we want this to have a really strong hip hop feel to it. We want it to, keep it simple, keep it kind of sparse, keep it a little bit spacey. But it's all about vocal, bass, drums, and then everything else is just kind of ear candy on top of that. But with that in mind, let's actually jump down to these background vocals, because I have not finished copying auto-tune to these tracks. And if you guys missed the first After Hours, I had just recently discovered all of these incredible shortcuts over on the left-hand side that allow you to quickly modify to power things on, copy and paste, all that sort of stuff. And these work for both inserts, sends, tape machines, a little bit of everything. So again, I'm going to repeat myself by repeating the same trick of slightly tuning my left and rights for backgrounds to be not quite on pitch, because the world's already too perfect. We need to add a little element of randomness, if you ask me. Just gonna go through and give that one some negative, some positive. All right, cool. And if I really want it, there's a cool shortcut in Luna, by the way, if you guys don't know this already. Shift W hides all of your plugin windows, which is great. But when I pull up, let's say I put in the 176, when this plugin gets instantiated, it's now going to show me all of those other plugin windows, so it's a good way to get plugins out of the way if you need to, go back and do something and then you want to pull all those back up, but you otherwise would want to close those. And I did it the hard way just then by click, 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 click. But you can see how that X is kind of highlighted white. I can do Command W to close the plugin window as well, which I really like being able to do that. Just make sure that that's the window in focus, because there's been once or twice I've gotten caught with thinking I was closing a plugin window, but I was actually closing a different plugin window. Cool. So let's unmute those. They wanna. Another hot tip. Select an area, hit E, have it pulled right up in your face. Exactly what I want. See us down. Ooh, those sound good. Freedom bound. Keep us down. To leave the ground. I like it. Those need a little de-esser. Go to it's the one I use the most, especially when I'm splitting stuff like that. See us down. Freedom bound. Keep us down. See us down. And so for background vocals, it's my opinion that you can kind of overdo it on de-essers, because they are, no one's going to complain that, wow, the background vocals were missing an S. You want to get that from your lead vocal. You want to have people's attention drawn up there. And if you got these guys over here going in your ear, it can be distracting sometimes. So let's see how that works together. See us down, so we stay
freedom bound, but nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, we gotta see us down.
Yo, that works. And that was originally intended to be an ad-lib bus, but I see that those are clearly chorus harmonies. And then it turns into like an ad-lib thing here. Let's see what it sounds like.
We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based off the description. And
so basically what I'm trying to decide right now is like, do I want to create another group? Or, you know, as you guys probably already seen here, I like kind of grouping stuff together, doing as little as possible to the individual tracks, or, you know, doing things that specifically need to happen on each individual track. So like, you know, melody and auto tune, some EQ and whatnot. But a lot of the heavy lifting, like even for the lead vocal, I've got 2 lead tracks that get bussed together, and then the processing is happening on that bus. Lots of really good reasons to do it this way, as opposed to, you know, putting effects on every track and then just summing all the vocals together. More so, here, let me show you one of them. One of them is that I can come to my main track here. I can hit the spill button. And this is, we've talked about it a couple times, I think, in like a tech talk, and then we've also talked about it in on an office hour at least once or twice. And I'm just turning off ARM because I'm not recording anything at the moment, so it kind of seems to speed up the mixer in my experience. But when you hit spill, notice now I'm left with all hot green tracks, because these are all my buses. So all my tracks are feeding into buses, all my buses are feeding to my main, and then all I have to do is hit that spill button, and then now I've got, you know, what is this, like 10, 12 tracks total to be dealing with? Way easier. And then of course you can also come in here, I think it's command spill. Is that right? Yep. Command and then spill, and now it'll show you the tracks that are feeding that in addition to the other ones. Command spill again to hide those drums. But yeah, this is such a dope way to like see your mix, kind of big level, and then not have to be bothered by all of those minion audio tracks.
We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based off the description.
Cool. All right. But I need to zoom, you know, showing you guys how to zoom out when I really need to be zooming in on these ad-lib tracks that are kind of rocking along with the verses. Let me select those, hit the E key, blow them up.
We hate ourselves more than the system. Chasing an image without a vision, no pot to piss in. Believe I'm no different. Sometimes I feel like I'm only standing and just think about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent.
Yeah, all right. I'm definitely gonna split these up. So what I'm gonna do is kind of recomp this a little bit. So things that look like they are harmonies to the lead, those are gonna stay in the harmony land. But then stuff that's actually ad-lib stuff, we're going to keep on these ad-libs, and I will grant an exclusive bus just for the harmonies. Once in a lifetime. Bring those up. And then this way we can have like an actual ad-lib track. That looks like a background. That looks like a background. Let's do. There we go. Option D to create a copy of that track. So I don't need it for that, but what I do need it for are these parts that look like they are also harmonies. I'm just doing this all by sight, breaking all the rules right now, guys. So these all look like harmonies, and then down here will be actual ad-lib, like little one-offs and stuff that needs. And the main reason I'm doing this, guys, is for the panning purposes. I want the actual ad-libs and stuff that's kind of adding hype to it to be a little bit more in the middle, but stuff that's kind of be more harmonic and just kind of adding a background vocal vibe. I want that to be a little more left-right. So since I already like that sound, let me bring that up here. And another thing, it's the little things that matter, right, guys? So all those tracks, all these pink tracks right here, are being bussed to what was ad-libs. It's now like let's call it BGV or harms. 2 S's in case I've used that name before. What I love is that the bus names on the tracks get updated in real time. The way I used to work did not do that. Can select those 2 tracks that are now actually ad-lib tracks and call it ad-libs. So by selecting those 2 tracks and then hitting Command-Shift-B, I just made a bus super fast. So I can process these 2 tracks as if they were one. Let's hear this part.
For the clowns, the ringleader won the crown. The clan is all of they.
Those are harmonies. You ain't ad-libs. But you are an ad-lib guy. All sorts of messiness. All right, there we go. And again, like changing your outputs, super easy. Just for this one track, came down here, clicked on the output assignment, and then found my ad-libs over here. If I was having trouble finding it, I could just search. This is what I'm really enjoying about working inside of Luna. And now that I've got assignments all happening, I can hit the E key, zoom out, see what we're dealing with. Look at that. This makes a lot more sense in my brain. Oh, and we're coming up on a Q&A break. If you guys have questions, I will do my best to answer them.
Feel like I'm only still in it, just think about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And the White House full of clowns. The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans, now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep, and I hate these kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck all in the feel like I'm only still in it, just think about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on fitting description. And the White House full of.
And so, like, for stuff like that, I'm going to have a decision to make. I'm going to answer questions and then make a decision. Do these need reverb or space, or do they need to, like, stay super tight and kind of tucked in like that? It's a decision for future me. Right now, I promise to answer some questions. Let me pull up the chat, see how you guys are doing. Hopefully there's lots of arguments going on in here. How do I make the tempo actually change? Well, the tempo actually changes whenever you change the tempo, but Luna, it may look a little bit weird because your timeline looks like it's just staying put. So I can change right now and go from 146. Let's go to I'm going to make it extreme because I'm going to undo this immediately. Up to 170. Now notice these tracks are set up. Let's make sure I'm doing this right. These are set up in time mode. So these are attached to the minutes and seconds, not to the bars and beats. So when I do this tempo change, you saw how they all, let me do that again for you. There you go. So now you can see how they're growing on the timeline. You're like, why are they, I just made the song faster. Why is the timeline growing? That's because at the faster speed, these, are locked in time. So they're staying true to the minutes and seconds ruler while your bars and beats ruler is moving. Now, if these tracks were all set to tempo, which I can do like that, now we can have fun and we can see what this song would sound like as a slow jam. Let's bring it down to 110. And that, I think this might answer your question. I just changed the tempo, nothing moved. It actually did. Everything got slower, but the timeline stays visually attached to bars and beats.
The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans, now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made.
And Melodyne is totally messing that up. So I can't, that's why the vocal and everything felt super weird right now, is because I'm playing back the vocal tracks out of Melodyne. But you get the point, right? Good. Can you demonstrate clip nudging with the keys? Actually, I can't in version 1. Version 1, we don't have nudging for audio clips. There's nudging for MIDI clips and MIDI notes. Those you can nudge around. But that was one of the things that didn't make it into V1 for audio nudges. And I miss them too. Oh, wait. Yeah, let me show you how to fix that, by the way. I'm not leaving you guys hanging here. Nudge for audio clips. Clips, please. This, guys, if you haven't already heard, I probably have said this like 50 times on our live streams, the feedback button up here, whenever there's something like that you know you need, and I know I need you guys to know that you need it, hit the feedback button, give it a nice little summary, careful on the exclamation points, one only, and you know, you can write a long description, or if it's pretty self-explanatory, you don't need to. Tag it with your name, put your email on it if you feel like it, but you don't have to. Hit submit. Now the developers, Lev, Connor, all the guys at UA that are working on this stuff, they now know that that's a feature that you would like or need. What plugin is the delay in the vocal? Excellent question. It is vocal delay. It's Effect Rack. What is inside that Effect Rack? Capitator, not doing a lot, but just kind of rolling off the highs, rolling off the lows, and bumping it up a little bit with some drive before it hits the Echo Boy on a ping pong, quarter note, eighth note, and as you guys saw, my BPM is double time, so that's essentially an eighth note and a 16th note, and then a touch of micro shift. That's kind of, I love using Effect Rack for stuff like that because you can just stack a few things in a row like that, and I'm a day one fan of the Echo Boy delay. If you can pick up Neve summing till later, what would be your approach? Thanks, Ben. Neve summing, man, it is, I love using it. I've gotten really spoiled really fast with it. It can be a very subtle effect, especially for music like this. You know, if you hit it really hard, you can do some crazy stuff, which is what I'm doing over here on one of my drum parallels. See, I've got that headroom knob cranked, so I'm getting a lot of drive, a lot of grit out of that one. But then other ones, especially, I personally kind of like on my main faders to have a really open headroom, and I use that to help trim into my mix bus chain, which I talked about a bunch in the first episode. So that's kind of, you know, blow it out in some places, tame it out in a few other places, but then kind of just having it on every bus automatically seems to make things sound better. But here, you guys have got good ears. And you deserve it. This is with and without Neve summing on this mix. It's still in progress, but with and without. Let's do with first, because I notice it more disappearing than I notice it coming back on.
They wanna see us down, so we stay freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh.
If you guys can't hear that, I don't know what you're listening to, but it's a huge difference. When it goes away, it's like, where did my mix go? It had lovely, you know, it had everything I wanted, and then it kind of disappears, and then you bring it back on, and you're like, oh, there it is. Yeah, okay. Did you guys heard that, right? Oh, my master one stayed active. Yeah, it's a bug right now. When I do the option click, it just does all the channel ones if I forget to hit the master one. So I will do it again. Thank you for pointing that out.
They wanna see us down, so we stay freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh.
Huge difference. It's actually, it might not be a bug, it might be a feature, especially because for that master one I've got that trim kind of cranked, so you notice a huge gain difference that time. But yeah, man, I really do love how this thing sounds. Gotta sell some good, yeah, solid strategy. I sell a lot of stuff in Reverb. I buy a lot of stuff in Reverb, and I sell a lot of stuff in Reverb. If you just keep on cycling stuff, you know, if you're not using it, sell it. Buy something that you do like and do use. Great. If I showed analog summing, I've not showed analog summing yet. I will do that on not this song, probably on, maybe I'll do it on this song, maybe as like a nice little, like, once we're all done, I can split this out into the analog world and compare that. I've got a Dangerous 2-bus plus over here. Compare that to the Neve summing. I would be curious to hear what that sound difference is. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe, or maybe I'll just do another song and do it all summing. Who knows? All right. Any other good questions? This is sounding awesome. Oh, thank you guys. I super appreciate. I see so many familiar names out there, so it's really cool to see you guys joining so many of these broadcasts, and I'm stoked that you guys are stoked and love sharing this stuff with you guys. So thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna start mixing a little bit more. Thank you for such good questions, everybody, and great segue. Cool. So now we're back in the mix, back in the rearview mirror, and we now have ad-libs are kind of working. They're not quite pushing enough. Like, do you guys notice that too? Wherever there's a lot of times where I can't quite hear them, and then there's other times I do hear them. This is our problem to solve. All right, I guess I should say this is my job to do. See us down. Sounds great there. So we stay freedom bound. Those one, that's how I want all of them to feel. Just kind of jumps out at you, and you're like, oh, powerful addition. Let's
think about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based off the indescription. And the White House full of clowns. The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans. Now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate. These kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we.
That one is. Let's duplicate this track, because I don't like that one being kind of all out on its own. Felt really strange.
Over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate. These kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I.
So that one, we can actually do some cool shit. To me, that sounds like a kind of ad-lib follow-along thing that is begging to be, a little lo-fi, a little radio.
Over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made-up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate. These kids ain't safe in the school. And over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made-up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate. These kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't.
So that takes that line to a different place, which I think is kind of the idea. My guess is what Johnny was going for there, was to separate that line from the others, have it have more impact both for that line and the line that comes right after it, by giving it a different tone, by kind of making it sound like someone's getting on the police radio or something.
They mans, now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate. These kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck on in the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Yeah,
Yo, by the way, I just love this. I just got real-time mix feedback from my homie Johnny. Big ol' yes on that one. All right.
They mans, now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate. These kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck on in the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Yeah, on in the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. On in the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Yeah, them with our face stuck on in the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Yeah, wanna see us down. Freedom bound, nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground, oh, and fly.
Let's bring that back.
See us down, so freedom bound.
Nice.
Keep us down if we ain't scared.
There we go. That, hear those guys jumping out really cool in the chorus there.
They feeding us garbage, we eating regardless. You are what you eat, hard to compete without owning your harvest. See, government is monopoly, concerned with their pockets and not the needs of the people. And this kind of evil is what they want us to not believe. And the proof is plain to see, it's how this nation came to be. We living in shame, ain't nothing gonna change till we face our roots in slavery. Ooh, that guilt is heavy, man, but nothing more deadly than being young, brown, or black and American. I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin so light, I pass. Mostly it is privilege. For me, it was something that I never fit in. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image.
So I'm a huge fan of clip gain. Again, as you can, one thing I'm not doing yet is a lot of automation, right? What I'm trying to do is trying to dial it in, faders kind of resting wherever they are, but without really having to go in and start doing tweaks. My goal is to get this to all sound kind of how I want it to sound, and clip gain is such a great way to do kind of pre-automation rides of certain sections of the vocal. So especially for this one, the other thing I love about it is it basically becomes a pre-fader. So it's less compression, it's less everything on these lines that don't need to speak out quite as much. So the more I pull this down, the more I kind of set it back in the mix, the less it's going to compress. Just a little bit more open the whole thing will be, because more compression is never the answer.
It's kind of evil, it's what they want us to not believe, and the proof is plain to see. It's how this nation came to be. We living in shame, ain't nothing gonna change till we face our roots in slavery. Ooh, that guilt is heavy, man, but nothing more deadly than being.
So as I say all that, this part just does not need to be as loud. And I could be lazy all I want. I could clip gain to my heart's content, but I could also just come down here and pull that down a little bit.
Proof is plain to see. It's how this nation came to be. We living in shame, ain't nothing gonna change till we face our roots in slavery. Ooh, that guilt is heavy, man, but nothing more deadly than being young, brown, or black and American. I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin's so light I pass. Mostly it is privilege, but me it was something that I never fit in. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image. But as long as the odds are stacked, I'ma keep riding for my better half. Come on. They wanna see.
And maybe we get to like here, and we come down, and let's ride back up for that last line.
Family's image, but as long as the odds are stacked, I'ma keep riding for my better half. Come on. They wanna.
There we go. That's just adding a little bit more energy as we're getting into the chorus. Fantastic. Super happy with that. Harmonies are starting to fit. Let's check out that last chord. Yo, Johnny, you killed those ad-libs, bro. That last chorus, son. Yeah, well done, sir. Well done. I see people in the chat right now going a little crazy. Because, that, for real, man, that is a great sounding vocal. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think you recorded all this stuff yourself, right? This is all stuff at home on a Twin or on a Pro Tools rig. I'd be interested to know what you were using on this, Johnny. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat would be too. So now let's listen to these are real ad-libs. So real ad-libs I can absolutely treat as if they are real ad-libs, and they always deserve kind of be getting pushed around. Not pushed around, but like pushed up. Like these are all about energy. So it's all cool to break all the rules, over compress the crap out of them. Holds them in a spot. The ones that have a lot of energy poke out, or don't poke out too much, but it brings all of the little nuances straight up to the front of the mix.
See us down, so we stay free.
And shortcut, and a real quick shortcut to doing that. So right now I'm using the SSL eChannel. It's on just my ad-lib bus, so all three of these tracks will be pushing the same channel. Here's a quick tip: hit flip. So it goes out of line mode into mic mode, changes up the gain stages, gives you way more gain just to start with. It's basically like starting on plus 20, but it also sounds, I don't know, man. I love how it sounds. It sounds like the SSL pre, which you don't get when you're coming in on the line input.
See us down, that's right. So we stay freedom bound. Free. Nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh. We got it conflicted. We hate ourselves more than the system. Chasing an image without a vision, no pot to piss in. Believe I'm no different. Sometimes I feel like I'm only standing in. Just think about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based on the description. And the White House full of clowns. The ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans. Now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep in the hate, these kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck all in the screen. Slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Yeah, they wanna see us down.
that, yeah. If you take one thing away, man, hit that flip button every once in a while, especially when you want a track to like just jump out. And then crazy compression, yeah, man, this SSL is something special. There's a bunch of there's other SSL plugins out there, guys, but like if you know the difference. Like this one's got a little something in it that like I remember from those boards. The studio that we worked at in New York City all the time. The Fab Studio was always Neve boards, but then my spot was downtown at this place called Engine Room Audio. And upstairs there, they got a big tracking room with a 72 channel SSL. And like, I remember being so scared for my first session up there because it's a huge board, and I had been only working on Neves or like all in the box. So going to like do your first session on a big console like that, man, I was like reading the manual for like the 2 days before the session, just like trying to be all prepped and like know what I was doing. And of course, like it was a hip hop session, so all I really needed to know was how to turn the volume knob up to 11. But then eventually, like doing tracking sessions there and I did like one or two mixes there. I still prefer like kind of being in the box because I could repeat it. But once you start getting your ear to this like SSL sound and what it really is, that flip from line to mic is that sound. It's so dope. And you guys, hopefully, talking about how great that plugin is. What's dope though is how that brought like all this little bit of ad-lib stuff super forward in the mix. Which is, as I said, that's what I want these to do. I want the soft ones to jump out. I want the loud ones to be thrown back. And yeah, that's just adding the right vibe for, I think, these ad-libs. So you're welcome.
Nation came to be. We living in shame. Ain't nothing gonna change. Till we face our roots and slavery. Ooh, that guilt is heavy, man. But nothing more deadly than being young, brown, or black and American. I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin's so light, I pass. Most see it as privilege, but me it was something that I never fitted. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image. But as long as the odds are stacked, I'ma keep riding for my better half. Come on. They wanna see us down. So we stay freedom by nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. See us down.
So of course, this is how my mind works, is like start working on some vocal stuff, and then every time I hear the chorus, I'm like, or I hear something happening in the guitar, I'm like, oh, actually just let me go reach for that fader. And this is I'm really enjoying this. I'm really starting to get used to how Luna works in this sense too, especially coming from Pro Tools. You spend your entire time going from window to window, so I'm really enjoying this having this focus channel. I know Logic has had this stuff forever, so and Ableton does a similar sort of thing, but like now being able to just come up here real quick, grab the track that I think is a little too loud. I've got a fader right here and I don't have to switch windows. Man, those guys, whoever designed this stuff was smart. They knew what they were doing. All right, we have a few tracks of vocals that have been muted the whole time, and then we got one guitar track that I don't know what to do with yet. I have no ideas for it at all yet. But these hook low octave, hook high harm, and then these are kind of like a big foundation for that post-chorus moment. So these ones are going to get tricked out, that's for sure. And actually, let's kind of design the vibe and the sound for this like post-chorus into the bridge, where it's just long, kind of wavy. Yeah, all right. So I give myself a head start. I got that Century Tube channel strip that, as I remember, it wasn't the vibe for the hook, so it got delegated over here to the harmonies because it had a nice smooth character to it. But now, like, what should we do to these to make them sound kind of extra crazy? My go-to, I'm sure like something like a harmonizer, that Eventide thing would be really cool. But I also really love kind of tweaking in some stuff here with Effect Rack. This definitely feels like we're going to end up in phaser land like this. So that micro shift is always, it if you guys don't know about this, this is a really nice like finishing touch. It's either you got to go one way or the other. You got to go like 100% with it and like fully commit crazy wide micro shift, or just a little bit of that tucked up in there. Oh, you guys want you guys want links to Johnny Burgos? You guys want links? Yo, all right, I'll give you guys links. Instagram.com/Johnny Burgos NYC. Boom. Oh shit. There you go. Hit up my boy Johnny. He's out here right now. All sorts of stuff on there. Killer song. And I wish I could post a link to the song, but you guys can't get it yet. You guys are getting to ride along how the song actually gets finished before it gets released. This is pretty it's pretty special to be able to hear a song in this state at this form. And this is very different for me. Even like whenever I do videos, it's typically taking something I've already done before and then doing it for video. So this is, you guys are seeing this happen actually in real time, which is probably why this is taking so much longer. And I'm not quite as on top of my talkage as I normally am. Oops, did I just hit something really cool? Potentially. Yo, that's already sick. Let's a little bit less of the phase. I don't want it to be fully disappeared. Let's go longer with that. I'll double check all my auto-tune settings. Kind of feels like one of them might be bugging out. Not that one. Oh, those two are good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're fine. All right. Let's see how this sounds in context. Sorry, I stopped listening when I stopped typing. You guys notice something weird about this part? Oh, yeah, it's way, way, way louder than the rest. Boom. So I hit the E key, zoomed in really fast, and then just eyeballing it here that these two do not need to be that loud.
We eating regardless. You are what you eat. Hard to compete without owning your harvest. See, government is monopoly. Concerned with they pocket. We ain't scared to leave the ground. Don't be scared. We gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly. So high. feeding us garbage. We eating regardless. You are what you eat. Hard to compete without owning your harvest. We ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, don't be scared. We gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly. So high. They feeding us garbage. We eating regardless. You are what you eat. Hard to compete without owning your harvest.
It's starting to work. They were overall loud in the chorus, and these, as you guys saw, those like screwed ones that are like down the octave there in the hook, as like mono, made those a little more mono.
They wanna see us down, so we stay freedom bound, but nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared.
Yeah, exactly. We ain't scared of putting those down the middle a little bit, so it's a little bit tighter of an image, especially since we already have a doubled vocal there. And then again, it makes that post-chorus kind of open up when those other harmonies come in, and you can really get nice, clear hearing of those. So now we got one track left. It's been muted for a very long time, and this is Guitar Break. And
We been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep, and I hate these kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck on the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Yeah.
so, I love the reverse into the chorus. These little things are supposed to be like moments to kind of like hit and grab. Let's see what it's doing in the chorus.
See us down. That's right. Nothing can keep us down.
Johnny's gonna yell at me if he really hates this, but I don't. I mean, actually, they're not. They're only in this one chorus. Nope, they're not. They're here. But like, the reverse is crazy. But like, the hit thing. Let's see how it sounds in the bridge.
Nerving you to even dare to think that I should care how you feel. I throw you off, I know it's rare, but no emotions can be spared, which is real. Let's go. They wanna see us.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where I could probably add tons of effects to those bits in the chorus and it might work, but if it's not really, I don't know what it's helping, because like the sub bass sounds sick, and like having those try to punch with the sub bass doesn't. It just felt muddy to me.
Play for a fool, follow these made up rules. And the police stay so deep, and I hate these kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck on the gas. My skin so light I pass. Won't see it as privilege. For me it was something that I never fit in. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image, but it's no.
Oh, I see what's going on. So that in that second verse, see how this track, which is like some real bass, is kind of more of a part of the tone. So what about saving that moment here? Because here we got that dope kind of like radioed ad-lib that's kind of pulling your attention. The stabby guitars might be pulling your attention away from that. So let's use that reverse to get into the chorus, but then let's check this out here for the second verse, which is a little bit more, it's got the live bass thing happening here too. Maybe this is a better moment for it.
Being young, brown, or black and American, I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin so light I pass. Won't see it as privilege. For me it was something that I never fit in. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image, but as long as I'm up.
Yeah. I like it better. Hopefully Johnny agrees. I'm pretty sure he will. We know each other pretty well. So here is a unique situation. Let's try. So this guitar track is a mono track. Yep, mono fader. So yeah, this one's got like two levels. This one only has one. That means that this is mono. It is actually mono. It's got one pan pot. So if I come in here, and we're gonna learn this together, and add effect rack, my crutch, my staple, and we come in here and do micro shift, we don't automatically get a stereo track.
I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin so light I pass.
So we're not getting the like what I want, basically what I'm trying to say, guys, is right now I want to make this thing super stereo. So I believe I can go tracks, convert to stereo. Let's see if this works. Nope. So to stereo works when you have 2 tracks. Select and you go convert to stereo. Did it do it? It did. Look at this. See, now I have a stereo track here. I lost my inserts because they were not the same, I would imagine, between those 2 channels. So you can convert from 2 mono tracks to a stereo track, but you can't convert 1 mono track into a stereo track. And thank God Luna's undo stuff it's actually really, really, really good. So how do you get around this problem? It's not a problem. How do you get around this feature of your mono tracks get to stay mono tracks at all times? So I got 2 ways. One, I could duplicate this track and then turn it into stereo. That's one way. It would work. It'd be fine. Or I could just make a bus and send just this one guitar to that bus, and it will be a very special guitar because it has its very own bus, and we're gonna call it stereo guitar with a little lowercase m in front of it, because that's how I know a track is not just a return. When I see an M, I know it's a bus for instruments, and when it doesn't have an M, that's how I know it's not. It's like just a weird thing I've done for years and years. But now, check this out. I've got my mono track. I can pan it. I don't want to pan it. I do want it down the middle so it's equal effect on both sides. And I can come in here and go dimension D. And Tom this week showed me a fantastic trick I never knew before. So, this thing's got like 5 buttons here. It's a very simple plugin. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hit shift and select more than one. Nobody told me about this until last week. Very disappointed that this was not brought to my attention earlier. Let's hear what that sounds like.
I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin's so light, I pass. Won't see it as privilege. For me, it was something that I never fit in. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image. But as long as I'm all the stack, I'ma keep riding for my better half. Come on.
Thank you, Tom. Me and my mixes, thank you forever. That sounds sick. Oh, good. Johnny's cool with it. Thank God.
I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin's so light, I pass.
Hopefully that's in reference to the edits, but there's no contest on this stereo guitar how good that thing sounds. Like, you guys want to hear it in solo? I do too. It's wild. This is just one program. So like on one, it's fine. That's not bad. But you know what sound cooler? Yo. Uh-huh. But all right, was this? So this was common knowledge. This is just me not knowing about it because all the presets talk about buttons being pressed together. So this is just me being on the back end of knowing knowledge. So if you guys didn't know that, now you do. You're welcome. And thank you, Tom.
I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin's so light, I pass. Won't see it as privilege. For me,
oh yeah, and Danielle, good shout out there in the comment too. You can do that in 1176s. And this is the like UAD way of if it does it in the hardware, we do it in the software. So yeah, you can hit shift just like you would on a real one and select multiple buttons if you want to go for a more extreme compression sound. It starts getting weird. I typically if I'm going for a nuts thing, I'll do like a 20 and 2 kind of thing. But obviously this is the anniversary edition. Shout out to the 2-to-1 ratio on the AE and the slow attack. Those are why this thing gets pulled up all the time in my catalog. We're getting close to a Q&A. If you guys have questions, I might have answers. So feel free to ask them, and I will do my best. We now have, guys, this is a huge moment. We now have all the tracks unmuted, working in the session, working together, and to my ears this doesn't suck, which is great. So now this is kind of the point in time where I like to check in to my mix bus and see how it's feeling, see how it's doing. See, I talked about this a couple times last time, I think, but I basically use this SSL bus compressor. This is my like canary. If this is hitting way too hard, if it's slapping all the time, I've messed up. I need to reevaluate my gain staging going into my mix bus. If it's just kind of kissing it a little bit, that's perfect. Now that I'm on speakers, I may, tweak some of this Manly massive passive, the mastering edition, because I don't need to add a ton. I just want to add a little bit. And I definitely know I want to just put that little 12 high pass on the bottom. It's a great way to like keep things big and heavy, but without it being too full down there. So yeah, let's check out how this meter is doing. Check in on this. We'll see what my limiters are doing. Again, neither one of these should really be working that hard yet. I'm not going for like a mastered mix at this moment. I just want something that sounds good. And I want this. I really do love the metering here. Go loudness. Yep. LUFS. And I'm a reasonable person. I don't strive for minus 23 like the good people at EBU and AES would love us to. 14 is kind of where like Spotify, iTunes, all those, YouTube, they love hearing it here. Minus 9 is a very generous target. You can go there. A lot of artists really love their records still going that loud, but for now, we're in the mixing stage. There's no reason to go past 14. Fingers crossed I'm not going past 14.
They wanna see us down. That's right. Don't stay. Freedom by. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. No, don't be scared. They wanna see us down. That's right. Don't stay. Freedom by. Nothing can keep us down.
Yeah. Minus 14. What wishful thinking. All right. Let me set my meter to minus 9. So now I look good. Now I look like I've got some room to go still.
They wanna see us down. That's right. Don't stay. Freedom by. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. No, don't be scared. They wanna see us down. That's right. Don't stay. Freedom by. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. No, they wanna see us down. That's right. Don't stay. Freedom by. Nothing can.
All right. So you saw like I'm coming back down here and back away from fully mastered territory. I do want to leave a little bit of headroom to myself later on when we go to master this whole thing together. This is kind of my default go-to here for the massive passive. Love that top end. Just a little extra air, a little bit extra shimmer, shine. All just those nice things here with and without.
They wanna see us down. That's right. Don't stay. Freedom by. Nothing can keep.
Here, just like it gives a little bit more distance to that hi-hat stuff and makes the vocal sound just a little prettier to my ears. And this could be my new room, or it's kind of typically like this area, man. This like 120, 180, 270, sometimes up to 390, not often, but these 1, 2, 3, those 3 frequencies, kind of cutting out a few dB there, just gives you a little bit more room. Just kind of opens up that low mid area in a good way.
They wanna see us down. That's right. Don't stay. Freedom by. Nothing can.
Scoops it and you don't miss it. Sometimes you do, like sometimes you lose thickness and you do want it, but especially for something like this track's supposed to shine. It's supposed to have like a real good beefy low end. That mid-range, it's we don't want it to go thin, but we also don't need it to be very thick. All right, but bearing the lead here. So the real cheats that I just did, one was on my Oxford limiter. I don't like seeing that gain reduction meter moving that much. Ideally, like I would see it light up every once in a while, but I'm seeing it light up every time the kick or snare hits. I don't like that. I've already trimmed my way out of the Neve summing way too much. So I have a couple options here. One of them that I could have done, but was being too lazy to do, is I could come in here, hit the spill feature, get all my buses that are feeding into my main fader, and just trim those all down by, a dB or two. That's one way to do it. That might have been the best way to do it, but I chose otherwise because I had the SSL plugin already open. This little knob right here, this HR minus dB, that's headroom, and it does the same thing that the Neve summing does. It allows you to change where its sweet spot is. So I just brought the sweet spot a little bit to the left, which is more generous in headroom. It's kind of shifting that reference level down, or I mean technically up in dBs. I think it's very confusing. Up is down, minus is positive. It's weird. Just know that one way it compresses more, the other way it compresses less. Let me show you. So that's all the way to the right. See how it's now working extra hard, and it shouldn't. And it sounds really tight, but it didn't change the gain stage. It just feels super over tight. But now now that I let that up, it's going to sound better and better the more I do it. So like right up the middle is exactly how the real one would operate in the real world. It does sound really good. It just sounds like a touch better to me, a touch more open. So I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. I probably owe you guys a bunch of answers. Where that manual at? Manual or manual? Manual is in the help menu, Luna documentation, and all of the help manual stuff is online this time around. It's fantastic. This way it's getting updated. If you guys are looking for things, you can also search. It's way easier. I was searching for something about stereo earlier, and then they did hear what you guys wanted, and they did make a downloadable version of it. But as soon, this will be updated every time we have a big update. But better than that is to really get to know how to use the online manual. Yeah, that's right. This isn't beta. This is version 1.0.1. It's one version past V1. Default headroom is minus 16 for the dB for the SSL. That makes sense. That is where a reasonable human being should be aiming their RMS levels at. Scrolling back up. If you guys have questions, just type them out and maybe I'll see them. Looks like you guys are helping each other, which I love to see, by the way, guys. I love seeing, looking over the chat every once in a while. You guys are just answering each other's questions and kind of hanging out. That, to me, is the coolest part about doing these streams together. They're not recording Leo. So David, you're having trouble with Machine, the plugin. Machine's a tricky plugin. There's it. By default, when you hit record on the machine, you're recording inside of Machine's internal sequencer. If you want to use it more like a drum machine that you're triggering off of Luna, and this is kind of what Leggy was showing earlier, to have it be able to MIDI into the machine, there's a setting, I believe, for that. I personally like to use the internal sequencer of Machine. And just kind of keep that in sync with my session. That's kind of the way I roll, and that way you can use all the hardware controls. You can hit record, and it just all happens inside there. But I think the actual issue that you were running into might be just a MIDI assignment thing. So let me, fingers crossed we don't break my session by doing this. Machine 2. Okie dokie. What's the next step I'm considering for the mix? Very good question. Let me finish showing this machine thing and then I will answer that. Cool. All right, my machine is turned on. So right now, if I record something, it all happens into, and this is my template for some fun hardware, software stuff I can show you guys at a later date. Let me just load up a machine sound. Here we go, random kit. My machine is also weird in that it constantly wants to be restarted. There we go. Okay, so two things. One, there's latency. Two, it's all triggering inside the app without me having to record arm this. As soon as I record arm this, let's see, that latency should go away. Sick. Let me show that one more time. I think hopefully you guys can hear me smacking on the pads and hear the disconnect. Since we're not going through Zoom or any other fancy stuff, this is all actually in sync today. A little bit of a lag. Put it in record. Now it's in ARM mode. It's going low latency. It's skipping out of the main fader now. Riad. All right, so now if I press play in my session, hit record on machine, it will by default record into here. Let me see. They wanna see us down. All right, there's some terrible playing for you guys. Just purposes of demonstration. That would happen with or without this being in record right now. But as you can see, it wasn't recording into Luna. So let me do a blank pattern. Yeah, and I don't know I saw this on Leggy's thing too, guys. This looks like a bug. You know what happens when that happens? I'm gonna show you. Sorry if this is annoying and I'm repeating myself, but machine playhead jiggles back and forth when not playing back. Seems weird. Something like that. Be descriptive. Help the guys know what you're doing. Maybe send them a file. You can send like JPEGs. You can even send screen captures. But I don't have time for that. I'm in the middle of a mix. Just submit the feedback when it happens. So now let me show you. This is what Leggy did earlier. And what you got to do, I think, unverified, but most likely, come in here to MIDI in, select your machine as the MIDI input. And now I can record into Luna. Nope, I didn't. Face stuck all in the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Nope. Great question. We should ask Connor about this one tomorrow, guys. Oh, maybe. Let's try this. Maybe I was using the wrong input. Face stuck all in the screen, slave to the green, forgotten the dream. Nope, still nothing. Guys, this is a excellent question. I don't have a good answer for right now, and I'm in the middle of a mix. So let's talk about it tomorrow when I've got actual experts that might know better. Delete instrument. Sorry, I couldn't answer your question better, but just if you're like me, just sequence stuff inside machine, and it will all work out fine for you. Best way to save different versions of a mix. Right now, the best way to save a version of your mix is to do save a copy as. So if I did this, you can say keep ya down, bend mix 1.0 like that. It will make a entire copy of your session. A little bit of a bummer is that it makes a copy of your entire session, all the audio files, everything. So this is like I don't know, maybe a gig or a couple of gigs. Making that copy added a couple of gigs. It's now going to be a couple of gigs for that file. Let's see. Projects, audio, universal audio, keep it down, yep, so the one I just made. Yeah, so it's like 2.5 gigs plus the one I'm now working in, which is probably 2.5 gigs. We know, and we've been getting lots of feedback from people, and yeah, we all kind of want something that makes that a little bit easier of a process. What am I considering doing next for the mix? I am considering if it needs more, if it needs any other layers, like if it needs like a little synth thing or maybe another guitar or maybe more edits, I still think the post chorus I can get weird. Kind of probably create some buses just for the post to give it like some really crazy delay, phaser, just craziness. Like make that whole section really tripped out. So I don't want to do that, but I want to listen to it and kind of hear it as a whole, see how we're feeling. Because I don't want to overdo it. You don't want to overcook a chicken. Everyone knows that. Oh, I'm glad you're rooting for UA, man. Me too. Do I ever use precision limiter on my mix bus? I don't typically use precision limiter. I do often like the precision. What's it called? The maximizer. I think sounds dope, but the precision limiter takes it's a kind of a hefty plugin as I remember, and I absolutely love the Oxford and the Fab Filter limiters, so I go with what I know. How to do a tape stop effect. You would export the tracks that you want to tape stop on them and take it out to something like Pro Tools that has Verify and do it there. Sorry, that's a crappy answer, but that would be the best way to really do it now, unless there might be a plugin like you could do it in. I think the Eventide plugins have got some crazy pitch stuff that you can get like that smooth, but if what you want is the sound of Verify, which if that's what you want, you got to go to Pro Tools to get that sound, just like you got to come to Luna to get the Neve sound. Each DAW kind of has its pluses and minuses, and the I still use Pro Tools for some stuff. I still pull things out of Luna into Pro Tools to do a thing, and then come back into Luna, and vice versa. And it's both of them are made in such a good way that you can easily kind of go from one DAW to the other. Can you automate the pitch adjustment on a clip level? You can't automate the pitch adjustment. You can set it, and then you could chop it up a bunch, and you could set each one a little bit differently. But no, there isn't like a continuous pitch line that you could use. Shape is free. What's the difference between shape and shape expansion? Shape expansion just gives you more sounds for shape, and it's free. So shape ships with it's like hundreds of sounds, and there's a bunch of them that download automatically. But that shape expansion, as long as you're not hurting for hard drive space, definitely go to your manage page, hit the diamond logo here, hit manage. I've got an update. You guys might not see this yet, but I'm on the beta crew, so I get stuff a little bit before you all do. Definitely make sure you download shape expansion, because that's where there's so many more good sounds are available in there. It's like almost twice the size of the primary shape library, so definitely do that. Nice DAW, just need some tweaking. Yep, don't we all? Any track phase reverse switching coming? Not that I know about, but I don't know what the product guys are working on. So if you guys want phase reverse on your tracks, not just your inputs, like, because you do have phase control on the input side using the up where you put the Unison plugins. So you can do it straight on the preamp as you're tracking, but you can't do it afterwards. If you would love phase reverse, or I've seen some people requesting like built-in channel EQ, things like that, let us know. Hit the feedback button. We want to know about it. Has a beat map time stop to the host, triggered by MIDI. Oh, cool. Abbey Road's vinyl. I have not heard of that one. Best suited for mix engineers, people that use mostly live instruments. For sure. I mean, I'm a mix engineer first and foremost, so obviously I'm going to show off lots of stuff that has to do with the thing that I enjoy a lot. But if you guys watched the the office hours that we had this afternoon with Leggy, I mean, he was doing for MIDI production. It's also really dope, man. Like the real-time feel of all the instruments, the fact that like audio and MIDI and everything can just like live together in one timeline and all work together and all sound really good. It's a good way to not overdo your tracks, because if stuff sounds good, you don't sit there feeling like you need more, because what you have is already enough. Explain all the pot of the summing, HR, high, low. Yep. sounds best. Oh, thank you. Glad you like how it sounds. Yeah. So is there a dedicated MIDI window in Luna? No, there is not a dedicated MIDI window in Luna. It is all happening in line on the track. So the trick is, all right, I'm gonna have shape pulled up because I want to play around with shape anyways. We got like, less than a half hour left to go. You guys have had amazing questions. I've made a lot of progress on this mix, and part of what I think maybe next is potentially adding a little something, so I can get that producer credit. Nah, I'm just joking. So I can show you guys how shape works. So let's bring this thing up towards the keyboards, because eventually this is gonna go out my key bus. But since I'm in ARM mode, I've recorded enable my shape track just in case. I don't want to pull a leggy and accidentally not record something. Yeah, so this is how I can show you just real quick.
Sometimes I feel like I'm only standing here just thinking about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent. Materialism.
All right. At least it's in the right key, but it's a piano. That is not what I'm hearing. Don't judge me, guys. I just want to show you guys how MIDI editing works. If you haven't caught some of the other office hours. So it's all happening right here. Like, these are notes in the clip. I can move them around. I can... Oh, sorry, I've got a weird double input thing. Let me do that again. Why are all those notes doing weird things? Because my MIDI setup is a little extra for what it needs to be.
Believe I'm no different. Sometimes I feel like I'm
gonna play right notes though.
Believe I'm no different. Sometimes I feel like I'm only standing here just thinking about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting.
There we go. Now we have single notes, so I can move these around. I can leave them where they are. I can come in here, I can quantize, and this all happens live in real time. You can change. Oops. Helps if I select the notes, doesn't it? There we go. So now the strength, when I go to 100%, you can see all those MIDI notes moving in real time. So that's how quantize works when you have auto apply on. If you don't have auto apply on, it will just do what it'll do it when you hit quantize, and now they shift, and you can always undo that. But personally, I love having auto apply on because you can kind of see that stuff sliding around. So select my clip, change the strength, add some swing, do all that sort of stuff. All of this is happening here. And then the easiest way, if you just want to blow this up, especially if you played, say you played an actual piano part and you had a lot of notes to cover, hit the E key, and boom, whatever is selected becomes huge on your screen. So no need for a MIDI window. Super long way of showing you and demonstrating how you don't need a MIDI window. Of course, somehow we end up quantizing things. Luna is perfect for vocal tracking, live instrument track apps. Dude, anything that has to do with tracking, Luna rocks. Like, it is, as a musician, as a player, as a vocalist, you guys are either you or your artists or people, performers, they just love working in here because it's such a good low latency workflow. There's no disconnect between what they're hearing and what they're saying, and you can get in there with some really amazing sounding tools. You can get Neve preamps, SSL preamps, and they sound spot on. You just get super high quality audio at every point in time, plus a low latency workflow, which is super dope. Can I tell you in advance what the topic of each office hour will be? Maybe next week. We're getting our guests booked a little bit further in advance, but we want these to be dynamic. We want to be responding to what you guys are asking. So we typically, after we go off air, we sit around and we talk for about 15, 20 minutes. Any questions that didn't get picked up or any things that the office hour crew has on deck that they can share, they're seeing that people want us to focus on, then we focus on that for the next office hour. Me too. I would love to know exactly what I'm doing next week for those office hours, but I also kind of like not knowing, because this way we can just continue to work with all of our viewers to show you guys what's relevant and what's needed. But flip side of that coin, wouldn't it be great if you could tell exactly what was in all 20 plus of our office hours? I agree. We're working on that as well. We're going to go back and retitle them, kind of tag them, chapterize them, be able to pull sections of them out, because there's been so many good nuggets that have happened, and I don't blame you if you haven't been just sitting at your computer watching every single one of these. So a long answer to a short question. Yes, we're trying to give you guys heads up on what each office hour will be, but at the same time, we're going to leave it loosey-goosey for your benefit and ours. Dun, dun, dun. Takes hiding tracks and spill. You can really clean, but I agree. Yep, the spill track thing, man. Don't sleep on that. It's super good. What, Ian? To bounce in place, go to mix down, separate, and then re-import. Yep, Ian is correct. That is the best way to do some sort of commit or bounce in place style thing at the moment, until we get enough people here hitting the feedback telling us, I need bounce in place like yesterday. Ben, so they know that to not take it very seriously. Exactly. It's not as elegant as track stacks. Sure. Whatever floats your boat. Are there collaboration features in Luna similar to Pro Tools? I'm not sure exactly which ones you're referring to. There isn't like a cloud thing yet, or any sort of like virtual play along thing. I'm not super up to speed on what the latest Pro Tools collaboration features are. Sorry, I'm scrolling back. I think I was way off. Buses are the groups. Yes, they are. Can I go over how ARM works? Yeah, sure. ARM is super. There's not a lot to it. I'm going to show you in the context of a virtual instrument. It's this button right here enables the ARM mode. ARM, what it will do is its job is to give you a low latency experience for your instrument or for your microphone or anything else. So it will do everything it has to do to optimize for that. A couple of the things that it does is, as you saw, I made this piano track go out M keys. But notice where where it's lighting up is just on the track and not in the keys. That is because ARM is bypassing the stuff that's happening on that bus. It can't do Neve summing. It can't do any inserts or sends that I have on that bus. It couldn't do those and still give it to me with a no latency feel. So it bypasses that. If that was super important to me, I could just turn ARM off. And now it's going through its natural path, but it's now added latency, which I think some people kind of get used to this, like this amount of disconnect between their sounds and what they're playing. But those of us who aren't really appreciate being able to put in an ARM, and now there's no disconnection between what I'm playing and what I'm hearing. So it takes it out of buses, takes it out of the main bus, puts it straight to the monitors as fast as possible. That's an important thing to know about ARM. And then beyond that, it allows you to put UAD plugins into your signal path, even if it's an instrument. And this doesn't have to be a Luna instrument. This could be literally any instrument that you have installed. When you're using ARM on an instrument track, you're getting the same low latency performance that you do with a Luna instrument. So now I get to process this through an SSL. I could crush it. I could do whatever I want. And that's kind of all you really need to know about it. You can set up buses to be ARM enabled. Like right now, my lead, turn that one off. But vocal delay is ARM enabled. So I could, without incurring any latency, say vocal delay on my keyboard track, and it will send out. Oh, no, it won't, because I have an AU plugin on here. So AU plugins kind of interrupt the whole ARM flow when they're used as inserts. So you can see, it is trying. It's going there. The orange box tells me that this is ready to be, accelerated real-time monitoring. But I have an AU plugin handling my delay, so it is not going to do that today. And that's fine, because I didn't really want delay on that. You know why? Because Shape has built-in delay that sounds sick. Stereo delay is cool. But tape delay, stereo BPM. It's got that little chorus thing to it. Oh, super nice. So yeah, that's kind of the quick overview of ARM. It lets you use UAD plugins real time. Makes it sound great to your performers and yourself. But there are a couple of limitations around AU inserts, buses, main bus, stuff like that. Awesome. Oh, what do the HR pot and the Neve summing? Sorry, somebody asked this one earlier, and I read it and then read another question and forgot to come back. Neve summing. Let me give you guys a quick overview. So HR stands for headroom. That's like the operating level of your summing bus. So easiest way to think about it, pull it to the left to make it cleaner, roll it to the right to make it dirtier, and then you've got a trim pot to compensate for any gain changes that you make. And then this is something that high impedance, low impedance. This is an option that's actually inside on the module, or it was on the outside of the module, but either way, you had to take your console apart to switch this option. So it's kind of nice to have it on the front panel, but it's a different impedance between your summing circuit and the amplifier. So it drastically changes the tone, and also will change the, it changes the level a little bit too. It's like a dB.5 louder to my ears. But here, I'll play this for you guys. I'll do this on the main bus, so it's going to be super obvious. I'm coming from like clean and trimmed down to like I'm gonna make it really nasty so you can hear it. So Neve summing is something that like works good across a whole mix like this. It kind of subtly adds up all across the way, but if you overdo it, you overdo it, just like you would if you're overdriving a real Neve console, or if you're overdriving a tape machine or something.
Believe I'm no different. Sometimes I feel like I'm only standing in. Just think about money and bitches. We doing all the heavy lifting.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. Here we go, chorus. So that's overdoing it. That's my main buzz. I don't want to make Neve look bad or sound bad, but I'm going into my mix a little too hot. So quickly, if that headroom control, even in the middle, is going to be a little too much colored for my ears. And that is literally why we have that knob there, guys. If I had done a better job at gain staging my mix, I would be hitting that bus way softer, and I wouldn't have to roll this headroom knob back. But because I made the decisions that I made, I've landed in the place of which I've landed. It sounds better with the headroom open. So this is how you can really hear a lot of Neve color really fast. But again, with the by doing this on multiple buses, like I'm not distorting my lead vocal. See, I'm hitting these in a much more reasonable part of the meter, and it's decent gain staging into these, and it's just the summation of all those into the main fader that you definitely want to be careful with. And sometimes you don't need it. If you've put it on every individual bus of your mix, this last one is kind of unnecessary. You've got a lot of color, you've got a lot of cohesion happening from all of your other buses, adding that in. So yeah, man, Neve summing, I love the sound of it. And I've been kind of A-Bing a lot of mixes with and without the Neve summing, and it almost always wins. Or maybe it wins by being on the drums and the bass, but not on the vocals and the main, or vice versa. So use your ears, use your judgment, take a listen to it for yourself. If you guys don't already have it, there is a 14-day free trial. So you can try it out for yourself. Make a decision. Does it add something that you like? To me, it definitely does. And it's great that they give you this super easy, awesome to use controls. So that was a long way of talking about the Neve summing. Yep. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Sounds like you're looking for, yep. You can only use UAD plugins with Luna. No needs, all caps. I'm not going to yell like you. No. Absolutely. Dude, I've got AU plugins all over the session. So Luna works with UAD plugins and AU plugins. When you go to ARM mode, that's where you only really get to rock with UAD plugins. You can also still use the AU instruments, but it's UAD plugins only. You need the DSP to be able to do the no latency workflow stuff. But just in general, using Luna, you can use any plugin you want, any AU plugin that you want. They all work. You're waiting on some SSL summing? Yes, sir. Me too. I think that this is kind of the exciting thing about Luna just in general, is like the possibilities that you guys are already seeing. This is v1.0.1. This is super, this is just out. This baby was just released just over a week ago. This is barely a week old, guys, and it already sounds and looks this good and is working this well. So yeah, imagine, more tape machines, more summing, all that sort of stuff. Yet again, I'm going to be annoying about it. Hit that feedback button because we'd love to know what you guys want to see. And +1 for that SSL, man. Can you A/B all Neve summing on and off? If so, how? Yep, you sure can. I'm gonna do it the way I did it the first time, which is leaving the master one on, but doing all of the sub ones. This is just a shortcut that works on basically anything inside of Luna. If you hit Option and do anything like Option Solo, solos all your tracks. If I do Option Select a track, selects all my tracks. So same thought process. Hit Option Out, bypasses all my Neve summing. And here you guys can, this will look cooler if I spill. So now you're looking at just on my buses. I'm leaving that main one on the whole time. So it's doing the least amount, but it's also doing some gain staging stuff. And I don't want to confuse your guys' ear with a couple of dB extra. So this is without. I'll just kind of keep going back and forth. I said this before when we did this little experiment a little earlier today. It loses a little something when you take it away that I like. I can't totally put my finger on it, but it's just a little deeper, a little nicer, a little wider. It just adds a little something, you know? Yeah, smash that feedback button. Luna, after 2 hours, I got an expired demo. Isn't the demo supposed to be? It is definitely supposed to be a 2-week demo. That's not if you had a weird thing like that happen, that is not a time to hit the feedback button. That is a time to send a customer support ticket and let them know, and they can reset that for you or figure out why it happened. Need the external MIDI equipment, then it stays logic for external. Otherwise, I love. I mean, you guys can you probably have sort of seen in my background here. I've got some cool MIDI stuff on my left. I love kind of using hardware sequencers. I've got the MPC 2K, I've got an OPZ, a circuit, a TR8 machine, like a bunch of different sequencers, and I as well enjoy kind of working, get that analog feel, but then all those come in through my Apollo on different channels, which is a great, really fun workflow to do inside of Luna. So the sequencing's happening, it's all touchy-feely, but then sonically everything's happening inside of Luna, and then I treat it just like a tape machine, press record, track everything in. It sounds really good. I've been trying for 2 hours. How did he record machine in Luna? I can't get it to work. Am I missing something? Yeah, David. If you want to, I tried to show this and I failed, but it is there's a trick. I don't know what that trick is. I'm gonna ask Leggy how he did it. Maybe he'll show up and chime in on how exactly he made that work. Can we disable unregistered UAD plugins? Nope, not yet. Hit the feedback button if you'd like to be able to do that. I know, again, this is part of my being able to work at UA. I actually have access to all these UAD plugins, but I remember a time before I worked at UA, and it would be kind of nice to be able to hide some of the ones I don't own. But to be honest, to be fully honest right now, with the searching, I kind of forget about it really fast because it's made me a little bit more deliberate in my choices. So I know I want SSL channel. I just start typing SSL. So I'm doing a lot less like perusing my list, trying to find something to spice me up. And a lot more just like, I want this, hit the plus button. So it's a good and bad thing. I totally understand though, that, there's hundreds of plugins in here that you don't own. Hit the feedback button, let us know. They'll do something about it, hopefully. Am I going to quit Pro Tools and go 100% Luna? No, I'm not going to quit it completely. I'm not going to quit it. Man, I use Ableton, I use Machine, I use my iPad. I use a little bit of everything, man. So there's a lot of stuff that Luna's great for. I'm personally enjoying like learning about the Neve summing sounds, using all the tape, the kind of the workflow inside of here. But there's some stuff that Pro Tools still does better. So I'm going to go there for certain sessions, come into this one, kind of go back and forth, keep on learning Luna, learning the sound of all the stuff inside of Luna. I'm never going to be 100% one or the other. I'm always going to have a little bit of both in my life. Can I just say, hi, Jason. Correct. Neve summing is not part of the Neve bundle. I don't want to tell you guys bad information. Let's find out. Let's go shopping together. Neve Complete Bundle. I'm pretty sure since Neve Complete Bundle is all the UAD plugins, since the Neve summing is a Luna extension, it is not part of the Neve bundle. Correct. Yeah, so the Neve bundle is the UAD bundle. It's all UAD plugins. It works in any DAW, works in console, works in Luna. This is the Neve bundle. If we added the Neve extension to that, then think about all the people that, like on Windows, that have no access, have no way to use it. We can't charge them more money for something that they can't use. So that is, I believe, the rationale why Neve summing is not included in the Neve Complete bundle. But you bring up a fantastic point. How can you get a good deal on the Neve summing plugin? Well, the answer to that is the Luna Creator Bundle. This gets you the Neve summing, Studer Tape, Rovell, and the Mini Moog all together. And this, when you get the Studer in here, you get both the extension and also the UAD plugin for it. And if you already own that UAD plugin, you get a like $150 discount or something like that on the bundle. So, use your demos. Always use your demos, guys. That's 2 weeks for free that you get to try it out and really evaluate. Like, is this going to make my stuff sound better? But then when you want a good deal, bundles are always going to be the way to go. Glad I made your day, Jason. Any news on Windows compatibility? Not at this time. We're a weekend, guys. There's bug fixes. There's all sorts of new cool features coming at it. So yeah, no news to report on the Windows front. I can't use. I don't know. I haven't tested the Slate stuff inside of Luna yet. Is this a membership thing at Universal? No, there's no membership thing. You got to own a UAD. You got to own an Apollo in order to get Luna. But otherwise, everything right now for UA is all you buy the plugins and you own them. And they're registered to your specific devices. You can have up to 6 devices all registered with the same plugins. So, like for me, I've got X8, X16, 2 satellites, and a twin in the back. So those are all authorized on the same account. Yep, only works on Mac at the moment. All right. Well, guys, it's 7:00. I smell a delicious dinner downstairs, and I would love to just hang out here all the time. And hang out with you guys because you guys are a lot of fun to chat with, and I love showing you guys off cool things to do outside Luna. But we've got a pretty decent sounding mix here. I think where I would love to leave it is listen to this song one more time with all my Neve summing turned on. Just kind of listen to it, enjoy it, and then we'll come back next time and I'll have an idea of what else it needs. But we could be getting close here potentially to like. I'm going to show this one off to Johnny. I'm going to bounce this one out and send it to him because we've at least got all the tracks in there. We haven't done any automation. We haven't dressed with the post chorus. We haven't added any tracks or really kind of done any big production moves yet. But this is about the state of the first mix I like to send to artists to make sure that I'm going down the right track. So yeah, guys, I'm going to play the song one more time and then I'm going to go grab some dinner and grab some sleep. And then I'm going to be back here tomorrow morning for our Luna office hours, 9 a.m. PST. It's a different time in whatever time zone you're in. Use your digital devices to figure it out because I can't do that math in my head. And this has been very wonderful hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you to Johnny Burgos, artist on the song. The song is Keep You Down. You can't find it anywhere yet. You can only listen to it here because we are still working on it in progress right now. But it's a super good song, and I really appreciate him sharing this with you guys so early in the process. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun, and I will be back on stream tomorrow morning. All right, you guys have a good night.
They wanna see us down. That's right. So we stay freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down if we ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh. We got it conflicted, we hate ourselves more than the system. Chasing an image without a vision, no pot to piss in. Believe I'm no different, sometimes I feel like I'm only standing it. Just think about money and bitches, we doing all the heavy lifting. They keep us complacent, materialism, religion, addiction. The freedom is fake when conviction is based off the indescription. And the White House full of clowns, the ringleader want the crown. The clan is all of they mans, now whether they fan base over here tripping. See, we been played for a fool, following these made up rules. And the police stay so deep and I hate these kids ain't safe in the school. And believe I hate them, but we can't just blame guns. We walking around them with our face stuck on the screen. Slave to the green, forgotten the dream. They wanna see us down. So we stay freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, don't be scared. We gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly. So high. They feeding us garbage. We eating regardless. You are what you eat. Hard to compete without owning your harvest. See, government is monopoly. Consume with their pockets and nothing. To the people, this kind of evil is what they want us to not believe. And the proof is plain to see. It's how this nation came to be. We living in shame. Ain't nothing gonna change till we face our roots in slavery. Ooh, that guilt is heavy, man. But nothing more deadly than being young, brown, or black and American. I'm mixed, but I ain't gassed. My skin's so light, I pass. Mostly it is privilege, but me it was something that I never fit in. Conflicted existence, stick out in my family's image. But as long as I'm all to stack, I'ma keep riding for my better half. Come on. They wanna see us down. That's right. So we stay freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, we ain't scared. We gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly, we gon' fly. The nerve of you to even dare to think that I should care how you feel. I throw you off, I know it's rare, but no emotions can be spared when she's real. Let's go. They wanna see us down. See us down. We stay freedom bound. Freedom bound. Nothing can keep us down. We ain't scared. We ain't scared to leave the ground. Oh, can't be scared. Gotta spread those wings.
That's it. I honestly probably should have done a bounce while I was doing that, but you know what? I can do that later. All right, guys, I'm gonna go have some dinner. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in.